Welcome to day 8 of the Mind Hacking 21 Day program. I'm Sir John Hargrave. Yesterday we talked about negative thought loops, and I challenged you to notice those thoughts and trace them back to their roots. How'd you do? I know this guy who shared this great mind hacking story with me, and his problem, his negative thought loop, was that he got really worked up whenever he got stuck in traffic. And this guy lives in Los Angeles, where the traffic is truly insane. Anyway, this guy would sit in traffic every day just getting so worked up. And one day he became aware of this negative thought loop. He hacked his mind. He saw this emotion of frustration that was leading to these impatient thoughts that led to him sitting there stewing. Emotion, frustration, thought, impatience, action, stew. Now, most of us get frustrated when we have to wait at the airport or when we're stuck behind the guy in the burrito line who can't make the decision on the salsa. He's like, no hot, no mild, no corn, no mild. And you're just like, corn! Take the corn salsa! But how many of us are aware of that impatience? How many of us can step outside ourselves at that moment and say, there's another way of dealing with this? And he did that. He somehow got this awareness of his own mental loop. And he realized, this is crazy. I can't do anything about the traffic, but I can do something about my attitude toward traffic. So he started looking at this situation differently. Whenever he got stuck in traffic and he noticed himself getting worked up, he would then redirect his mind to seeing it as a positive situation. There's something constructive that you can do while you're sitting in traffic. So he would work on a mental problem, or he'd listen to a podcast. So his old negative mind loop was something like, I'm powerless and useless sitting here in traffic. And his new positive mind loop was, this is time I can be doing something useful. This does not happen overnight. He had to continually catch his mind switching to the negative loop and redirect it to the positive one over and over and over. But he says once he did, it was a game changer, because now all that mental energy he was spending on getting upset about traffic, all those CPU cycles, can be reinvested in positive, constructive thought. And this is one of the huge benefits of mind hacking. It's so much more efficient to channel your willpower into moving your life forward than just banging your head against the steering wheel column. The goal of yesterday's exercise was to get that negative thought loop into a sentence about yourself. Like, I am bad at my job, or I will die alone. When we're able to capture those dark thoughts, as I said, it's like we get them in a cage. We can bring them into the light and examine them and then decide what to do with them. So do your best to capture one negative loop this way in a single sentence. Now, today I want to talk about how these negative thoughts interrupt our concentration, our state of flow. You know what concentration feels like. It's kind of a zone that you get into when you're doing something you love. Reading a good book is an example. You lose track of time. This is not any mysterious state. It's the state you encounter all the time, like you're working on a big project and you just zone out. They often call this flow. And there's a whole book about it called Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And we can learn to cultivate that state at will. Now, we talked on day 4 about how these external interruptions can interrupt that state of flow. But the internal interruptions, these negative thoughts, also interrupt it. When we learn how to concentrate, we learn how to notice when that's happening. Just like my friend learned how to notice his traffic freakouts. But we also learn how to take those thoughts captive or to rise above them. We learn to neutralize them so they don't bother us so much. And the single biggest tool you have in this is concentration training, which we'll do again now. Find a comfortable spot to sit and get your body in a comfortable position. And we're going to focus on the breath at the diaphragm, which is like the belly, not the birth control method. That would be a neat trick, though. And we're breathing deeply, like where our laughs come from, the belly. And noticing that breath, noticing the belly as it rises and falls. And using that amazing power of imagination, picture your body filling with oxygen, like a progress meter starting at your feet and slowly rising to your head. And as that progress meter rises, you not only feel more and more relaxed, but you allow yourself to feel more and more absorbed in concentration. See the progress meter at the halfway point and continuing to rise. 75%. 90%. 100%. Allow yourself to imagine that you are deeply, deeply relaxed. And now we'll focus on the breathing. See if you can get into the state of flow, of deep absorption. And when you notice yourself caught in the thought stream, award yourself a point and redirect it to the breath. And now, in this state of focused concentration, notice how good it feels to be absorbed in this state of flow. Notice how your mind is stronger and healthier and happier. Your mind feels more clear, more focused. You're able to make better decisions. And now I'll count slowly from 1 to 5. And as I do so, you'll come slowly back to full waking consciousness. And when we return, you'll feel charged with positive mental energy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and open your eyes. I feel good. I hope you do too. Thanks for joining me. Day 8 is now complete. Mark it off in the Mind Hacking book on your practice sheet or in the app, which you can download at www.mindhacky.ng. Give yourself a reward today. Lock in that positive habit, and I'll see you tomorrow. In the meantime, hack hard and prosper.